Welcome. You're listening to the Louie Minor Show. I'm your host, Commissioner Louie Minor. Today is Memorial Day, May 29th, 2023. Happy Memorial Day. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. We'll begin with saying that there is no Commissioners Court meeting today, obviously, because it is a federal holiday, Memorial Day. So our next Commissioners Court meeting will be on June 5th, next Monday. So let's begin with the top news story here in the state of Texas, and I'll pull up the clip.
The question occurs on the adoption of the resolution. This record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk ring the bell. Shows the Speaker voting aye. Show Mr. Longoria voting aye. Mr. Murr voting aye. Show Mr. Dutton voting present, not voting. Have all members voted? There have been 121 ayes and 23 nays, 2 present, not voting, 3 absent. The resolution is adopted. The chair directs the chief clerk to notify the governor of the House's action. The chair directs the Committee on General Investigating to prepare any further resolution required by the adoption of H.R. 2377. The House will stand at ease for 15 minutes.
And with that, House Resolution 2377 passed. We had a total of 121 that supported, 23 against, 2 present not voting, and 3 absent. And this is bipartisan. Of the supporters that supported the impeachment of the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, had 60 Republicans that voted in favor, 61 Democrats that voted in favor, and 23 Republicans that voted against this impeachment. Now, this is very rare in the state of Texas. It's only happened twice before. The most recent time was a district court judge, O.P. Carrillo, in 1975. And before that, it was Governor James Ferguson in 1917. So, like I said, this is very rare, very uncommon, and I think it bears, just for people to understand how historic this is here in the state of Texas. So let's get to what he was impeached for. And that House resolution, there are a total of 20 articles of impeachment. And I'll pull it up. I'm sure the House person that read it will read it a whole lot faster and better than I can. So let's hear when they read the resolution.
Mr. Speaker, I call up the privileged resolution, H.R. 2377, impeaching Warren Kenneth Paxton, Attorney General for the state of Texas, and preferring articles of impeachment against him.
The chair lays out H.R. 2377 as a matter of high privilege. The clerk read the resolution in full.
H.R. 2377 by Murr, A. Johnson of Harris, Guerin, Longoria, Spiller. Be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the state of Texas that Warren Kenneth Paxton, Jr., Attorney General of the state of Texas, is impeached, and that the following articles of impeachment be exhibited to the Texas Senate. Articles of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the state of Texas in the name of itself and of all the people of the state of Texas against Warren Kenneth Paxton, Attorney General of the state of Texas, in maintenance and support of its impeachment against him. Article 1, disregard of official duty, protection of a charitable organization. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton violated the duties of his office by failing to act as public protector of charitable organizations as required by Chapter 123 Property Code. Specifically, Paxton caused employees of his office to intervene in a lawsuit brought by the Roy F. and Joanne Cole Mitt Foundation against several corporate entities controlled by Nate Paul. Paxton harmed the Mitt Foundation in an effort to benefit Paul. Article 2. Disregard of official duty, abuse of the opinion process. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official power to issue written legal opinions under Subchapter C, Chapter 402 Government Code. Specifically, Paxton caused employees of his office to prepare an opinion in an attempt to avoid the impending foreclosure, sales of properties belonging to Nate Paul or business entities controlled by Paul. Paxton controlled his actions by soliciting the chair of a Senate committee to serve as straw requester. Furthermore, Paxton directed employees of his office to reverse the legal conclusion for the benefit of Paul. Article 3, disregard of official duty, abuse of the open records process. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official power to administer the Public Information Law, Chapter 552 Government Code. Specifically, Paxton directed employees of his office to act contrary to law by refusing to render a proper decision relating to a public information request for records held by the Department of Public Safety and by issuing a decision involving another public information request that was contrary to law and applicable legal precedent. Article 4, disregard of official duty, misuse of official information. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official power to administer the Public Information Law, Chapter 552 Government Code. Specifically, Paxton improperly obtained access to information held by his office that had not been publicly disclosed for the purpose of providing the information to the benefit of Nate Paul. Article 5, disregard of official duty, engagement, and CAMIC. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official powers by violating the laws governing the appointment of prosecuting attorneys pro tem. Specifically, Paxton engaged Brandon CAMIC, a licensed attorney, to conduct an investigation into a baseless claimant, during which CAMIC issued more than 30 grand jury subpoenas in an effort to benefit Nate Paul or Paul's business entities. Article 6, disregard of official duty, termination of whistleblowers. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton violated the duties of his office by terminating and taking adverse personnel action against his employees of his office in violation of this state's whistleblower law, Chapter 554 Government Code. Specifically, Paxton terminated employees of his office who made good faith reports of his unlawful actions to law enforcement authorities. Paxton terminated the employees without good cause or due process and in retaliation for reporting his illegal acts and improper conduct. Furthermore, Paxton engaged in a public and private campaign to impugn the employees' professional reputation or prejudice their future employment. Article 7, misappropriation of public resources, whistleblower investigation and report. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused public resources entrusted to him. Specifically, Paxton directed employees of his office to conduct a sham investigation into whistleblower complaints made by employees whom Paxton had terminated and to create and publish a lengthy report containing false or misleading statements in Paxton's defense. Article 8, disregard of official duties settlement agreement. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official powers by concealing his wrongful acts in connection with whistleblower complaints made by employees whom Paxton had terminated. Specifically, Paxton entered into a settlement agreement with the whistleblowers that provides for payment of the settlement from public funds. The settlement agreement stayed the wrongful termination suit and conspicuously delayed the discovery of facts and testimony at trial to Paxton's advantage, which deprived the electorate of its opportunity to make an informed decision when voting for Attorney General. Article 9, constitutional bribery, Paul's employment of mistress. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton engaged in bribery in violation of Section 41, Article 16, Texas Constitution. Specifically, Paxton benefited from Nate Paul's employment of a woman with whom Paxton was having an extramarital affair. Paul received favorable legal assistance from or specialized access to the Office of the Attorney General. Article 10, constitutional bribery. Paul's providing renovations to Paxton home. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton engaged in bribery in violation of Section 41, Article 16, Texas Constitution. Specifically, Paxton benefited from Nate Paul providing renovations to Paxton's home. Paul received favorable legal assistance from or specialized access to the Office of the Attorney General. Article 11, obstruction of justice, abuse of judicial process. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton abused judicial process to thwart justice. After Paxton was elected Attorney General, Paxton was indicted by a Collin County grand jury for engaging in fraud or fraudulent practices in violation of the Securities Act, Title 12 Government Code. Paxton then concealed the facts underlying his criminal charges from voters by causing protracted delay of the trial, which deprived the electorate of its opportunity to make an informed decision when voting for Attorney General. Article 12, obstruction of justice, abuse of judicial process. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton abused the judicial process to thwart justice. Specifically, Paxton benefited from the filing of a lawsuit by Jeff Blackard, a donor to Paxton's campaign, that interfered with or disrupted payment of the prosecutors in a criminal securities fraud case against Paxton. Blackard's actions caused protracted delay in the criminal case against Paxton, including the delay of discovery of facts and testimony at trial, to Paxton's advantage, which deprived the electorate of its opportunity to make an informed decision when voting for Attorney General. Article 13, false statements and official records, State Securities Board's investigation. While holding office as Attorney General and prior to Warren Kenneth Paxton made false statements and official records to mislead both the public and public officials. Specifically, Paxton made false statements to the State Securities Board in connection with his investigation of his failure to register with the board as required by law. Article 14, false statements and official records, personal financial statements. While holding office as Attorney General and prior to, Warren Kenneth Paxton made misrepresentations or false or misleading statements and officially filings to mislead both the public and public officials. Specifically, Paxton failed to fully and accurately disclose his financial interest in his personal financial statements required by law to be filed with the Texas Ethics Commission in furtherance of the acts described in one or more articles. Article 15, false statements and official records, whistleblower response report. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton made false or misleading statements and official records to mislead both the public and public officials. Specifically, Paxton made or caused to be made multiple false or misleading statements in a lengthy written report issued by his office in response to whistleblower allegations. Article 16, conspiracy and attempted conspiracy. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton acted with others to conspire or attempt to conspire to commit acts described in one or more articles. Article 17, misappropriation of public resources. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official powers by causing employees of his office to perform services for his benefit and the benefit of others. Article 18, dereliction of duty. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton violated the Texas Constitution, his oaths of office, statutes, and public policy against public officials acting contrary to the public interest by engaging in acts described in one or more articles. Article 19, unfitness for office. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton engaged in misconduct, private or public, of such character as to indicate his unfitness for office, as shown by the acts described in one or more articles. Article 20, abuse of public trust. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton used, misused, or failed to use his official powers in a manner calculated to subvert the lawful operation of the government of the state of Texas and obstruct the fair and impartial administration of justice, thereby bringing the office of the Attorney General into scandal and disrepute to the prejudice of public confidence in the government of this state, as shown by the acts described in one or more of the articles. Prayer. Accordingly, the House of Representatives of the state of Texas, reserving to itself the prerogative of presenting at any future date further articles of impeachment against Warren Kenneth Paxton, of replying to any answer he makes to these articles, and of offering proof to sustain each of the above articles and to any other articles which may be preferred, request that Warren Kenneth Paxton be called upon to answer these articles of impeachment in the Texas Senate, and that in those proceedings, the examinations, trials, and judgments be conducted and issued in accordance with law and justice.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The 20 articles of impeachment against the Texas Attorney General, currently suspended Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Now, a lot of these things, majority of these things, were known in the public. It was out there. I don't know if the electorate really knew about it, everything, but definitely people that keep up with politics, they heard of some of these things. A couple of things that were new to me were the protection of a charitable organization where the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, deliberately sided with this individual, Nate Paul, and it cost the organization, the nonprofit organization, $5 million. They had a $10 million settlement judgment against Nate Paul, and I guess he took it to court. The Texas Attorney General got involved and made them take $5 million instead of the $10 million. So that was something new that I believe the public was unaware of. But I mean, we were aware of the whistleblowers. A lot of his top leadership quit, got fired after turning him in for bribery and all these other things. We knew that he had a mistress. He was cheating on his wife, Senator Paxton. She'll be hearing the case, maybe. I think she would recuse herself or be present, not voting. But yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting how that's going to be playing out. I don't know when they're going to hear this impeachment. And by them, I mean the Senate. Nothing has been said or stated yet. I know today is the last day of the legislature. I know that there's some things that still have not been addressed. Teachers' pay, the vouchers, however you want to say it, school vouchers, property tax offsets. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to get a special session for sure. But now we have a impeachment hearing that the Senate has to conduct. So, how long is that going to be? It like I said, this is new to a lot of people. So it's definitely going to captivate. It already has captivated the entire state and the nation. But I was talking to one of my friends about this, and he was like, "Louie, something this does not pass the smell test." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And like I stated earlier, a lot of these things were known, and at least the articles of impeachment, the investigation, when in the committee, whenever they brought this forward, they stated several times, but for not, that's the wording that they used, but for not, if the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, did not come to the legislature earlier this year and ask the state legislature to pay out a $3.3 million settlement to the whistleblowers, that this pretty much would have never happened, is what they're stating. At least that's my take from it. That if it was not for this settlement, not for the state being trying to get $3.3 million from the state, taxpayer money, to pay these whistleblowers, that this would have never happened. I don't know. I just after talking with him, like I said, it doesn't pass the smell test. I don't know. So I think that there's more to the story, and it'll come out in the trial. Maybe nothing in the articles. I believe there were a couple of amendments included because they said that the Attorney General was calling House members and pretty much threatening them that if they vote for this, he was going to, I guess, run someone against them in a primary or something to that effect, threatening them. But like I said, we'll see. But outside of that, like I said, I think there's more to the story. Republicans have supported him since 2013, 14, whenever he got elected. All the securities fraud information was already known at that time. But even, like I said, this most recent election, when he got elected, Republicans ran multiple primaries against him. I believe it was George P. Bush that ran against him. Louie Gohmert ran against him. Eve Longoria, she was a state Supreme Court justice. All of these people ran against Ken Paxton and lost to him. So these are who the voters wanted. It is interesting seeing how Ken Paxton and even members, the public, I'm assuming the right-wing conservative MAGA Republicans are blaming this on the Democrats, that this is, the Democrats pushing this liberal. It makes no sense at all that this has anything to do with the Democrats. We don't control the investigations committee. That's Republican. We don't control the House. That's Republican. We don't control the Attorney General's office. He's Republican. We don't control the Senate. That's Republican. Or the governor. So this far-fetched idea that they're trying to blame it on Democrats is really they're grasping for straws on that one. But so yeah, like I said, I'm intrigued by all of this. I watched the entire hearing, the impeachment hearing, on Saturday. I watched some of the committee report on I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, whenever they released the initial committee report recommending articles of impeachment. And even that time, the public, even media, was really unaware that this was coming. So within 1 week, roughly, not even a week, whenever they initially brought it to the House, they voted on it. So, I wanted to see what Bell County's local representatives, how they voted for this articles of impeachment against the Texas Attorney General. We have Brad Buckley and Hugh Shine, District 54 and 55, Bell County. How do you think they voted? Surprisingly, they voted for impeachment. And I'd be curious to see if they're going to get any primary challengers from that. I don't know. That'll be their business. That's their primary, not ours. But I'm assuming that might motivate someone to run against them in next election cycle. But we shall see. I believe it is rumored that Hugh Shine may not run again, but that is yet to be determined. So Brad Buckley, Hugh Shine voted in favor of impeachment. So kudos for them. A lot of times, I even posted a tweet about this, that it's not very often I can say that I'm proud of something that the Texas House of Representatives passed. But this resolution, HR 2377, is one of those things that they're definitely I support the impeachment of Ken Paxton. So since we did not have a commissioners court meeting today, we'll still have, we're still in the budget process. And so tomorrow we do have a budget hearing from 9:30 to 12. We have technology services that'll be presenting. Then we have a couple of outside organizations that the Commissioners Court has funded in the past. It's Bring Everyone into the Zone, Aware Central Texas, Syntex Alcoholic Rehab Center, and Hill Country Community Action. That'll be tomorrow on the 31st from 1:30 to 5. We'll have Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4, Place 1, Central Texas Youth Services, Cluster Courts, the Child Welfare Board, Children's Advocacy Center of Central Texas, Central County Services, and Hill Country Transit District. Then on June 1st, we have, beginning at 9 to 12, we have the Constables, Precinct 1, Greater Killeen Community Clinic, Central Texas Children's Center, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, Morgan's Point Resort PD Dive Team, the Expo Center, and that is everything so far that we have scheduled for the agenda for our budget hearings. I do know that we have the sheriff that'll be coming up. That'll be a big topic, especially, and a big impact on the jail, especially since we just approved the $3.7 million pay raise for all correctional officers, both in the jail and in the juvenile facility. So we will see what happens there. So outside of that, let's switch to a couple of things that are happening here locally. We have early voting starting in the City of Harker Heights runoff election. We have Linda Nash, incumbent, swearing off against Mike Aycock. And we also have Stacy Wilson and Hal Schiffman that are running off and for an open seat. So polls will for early voting opens from 8 to 5 this Tuesday through Friday, and then again 8 to 5 on Monday, June 5th. Then on Tuesday, June 6th, the polls will be open from 7 to 7. And then on Election Day, Saturday, June 10th, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So get out there and vote. We need members of the community to vote for both Linda Nash and Stacy Wilson. It's important that we have them in there to listen to the people. Let your voice be heard. One vote can make a difference. You've seen that in the city's election for the Proposition A, marijuana decriminalization. It won by one vote in this last election. So elections do matter. Elections do have consequences. So get out there and vote. So on the City of Killeen side, we have the city is now accepting applications for the seat vacated by Ken Wilkerson. So we have June now until June 8th, 2023 You can fill out your application, qualifications. You got to be a bona fide U.S. citizen, at least 18 years of age, must not have convicted of a felony, and have continuously lived in Texas for 12 months and Killeen for the previous 6 months, and be a registered voter. So all that information is on the City of Killeen's website. I'm curious to see who the applicants are going to be. There's some former council members that may step up and put their hat in. There will be people that have never filed before, I'm assuming. But ultimately, it's going to be up to the city council. But you can have a say-so in that matter. Once the list comes out of who's all applied, talk to these individuals, and call your council members, both at large and your district, and let them know how you feel and who you think would be a good fit for the city council. It says that the city council will interview candidates June 12th. So I'm assuming that they will probably make a decision by that date. And this will fill an unexpired term. So this will go through May of 2024. So almost a year that the person will be on city council. So yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know who filled out the applications and who I'd like to see at large running for that, or filling that seat, that vacancy left by Ken Wilkerson. And real quick, before we close the show out, just want to give an update to our impeachment process. According to the Texas Tribune, that the chair of the investigations committee, State Representative Andrew Murr, a Republican out of Junction, delivered the articles of impeachment for Attorney General Ken Paxton to the Secretary of the Senate. And in doing so, they named a 12-member committee to prosecute the trial in the Senate. And to name those individuals, we have the Board of Managers, as they were called, chaired by Representative Andrew Murr out of Junction, vice chaired by Representative Ann Johnson, Democrat out of Houston, and then 10 additional managers. Representative Charlie Guerin, Republican out of Fort Worth, Joe Moody, Democrat out of El Paso, Terry Canales, Democrat out of Edinburgh, Jeff Leach, Republican out of Plano, Oscar Longoria, Democrat out of Mission, Morgan Meyer, Republican out of University Park, Briscoe Kane, Republican out of Deer Park, Cody Vasut, Republican out of Angelton, David Spiller, Republican out of Jacksboro, and Erwin Gemez, Democrat out of Brownsville. So those are the members that will be trying this impeachment case at the Senate. They said a trial date has not been scheduled or posted yet. So it'll be interesting to see. May even be worth going down to Austin to sit in on it. It'll definitely be interesting to hear. And like I said, it's very, very historic here in the state of Texas. So thank you for listening. Remember to go out and vote if you live in Harker Heights. A lot of things are going on. We have our budget process in the county. I saw that cities are starting to do their budget process. So get involved, help our elected officials know what's important to you, what we need to fund locally. And with that, we are out of here.